What's up? What's up? This is the ChoppedByT podcast. We'll get real, raw, authentic conversations. I'm your host T, and to the right of me we got Trina. How you feeling?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. A little tired,
Man, listen.
Thanksgiving just came and went real fast.
The holidays, holidays. And like I said, off camera, I got a birthday coming up, so it's just more shit to have to do.
Yeah. But you should be glad. Turn 1 year older.
Yeah.
It's a blessing.
Always. But I want to get right into it. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, right? A close friend of mine, and he was telling me that one of the reasons why he couldn't, him and his wife had hit a rough patch. He's married. He said, well, him and his wife hit a rough patch, and one of the reasons why he stayed and just locked in with his wife was because of the wife's parents, pretty much. He had a good relation with them, so he didn't want to just leave. He didn't have any kids or anything by her. He just had a good relationship with the parents, and he just didn't want to leave. And it brings me to my first point, which is in a relationship, the importance of a village or having a village. Mm-hmm. How important is that?
Very, very important, because you need a reference when it comes to relationships, and whether it's your parents, their parents, aunties, uncles, cousins. You need somebody to relate to, some people to bounce things off of. Like, for example, me and my sister was just having a conversation with our husband sitting right there, where we were just talking about little things like they just moved into a new house. Yep. So we were talking about how she likes to decorate and he likes to decorate. Mm-hmm. But, once you put something somewhere, you don't want it moved by your partner. So she'll put something somewhere and he'll reorganize it. Mm-hmm. So she was just like, that was irritating. Why would you do that when I had it where I wanted it? So they finally came to a compromise on what room they'll decorate, and I'll do this and you do this. So, always in relationships, whether you're married or together, it's all about compromise. But having me there to validate how she was feeling made it even more, better for her. Mm-hmm. So when I gave her my perspective of when my husband does that, because he's a very organized person. Mm-hmm. Me, I'm just like, just put it there. It'll be all right. Yeah. He like, no, the spoons got to line up this way. Like, he's very particular. So when I do put something somewhere and I want it there, he'll go and move it without me asking. I'm like, why you do that?
And then you forget where it's at. I hate that.
So why you do that? So now we fussing over you move something. But having people there to validate how you feel a lot in relationships really, really helps, and to give perspective on how they handled and navigated through certain situations, because you might be stuck. You and your partner still might be arguing about that little thing. Right. And let's just say me and my husband come in and we be like, well, this is how we compromise. This is how we worked it out. So by getting the idea of what my sister had with her husband about just compromise. You get this room. You can decorate this room how you want. I can decorate this room how I want. Instead of, a lot of times us women in the relationship, we like to take over all that type of stuff when y'all have to live there too. So we have to be considerate of that as well. So, the village is just as important as the relationship.
Yeah. So what about the negative side of that when you have like single friends and stuff like that?
Woo.
Bringing in bad energy. Or not even single. What about friends who like married but miserable and want everybody to be single
married
too?
And miserable. Man, let me touch on the single ones, because I have quite a few single friends. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, I'm the type of person, though, you can give me all the advice in the world.
It won't matter.
I'm going to do what I want to do at the end of the day. But I get it because I have friends who have single friends, and I'm going to touch on their situation because of how it can affect, your marriage and your relationship by listening to them. Because a lot of times, I won't say a lot, but sometimes it can be rooted in envy when they're not even trying to, though. But they want what you have. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times I've found out that people that are single and who haven't been in like a committed marriage, like where you have to work out with this person. This is the person that you chose. It's not a relationship you can just up and leave. Like, y'all committed to each other. Y'all are bounded. So a lot of single people have a no nonsense or no tolerance policy, or they feel like, oh, I won't put up with this. I won't put up with that until they're put in that situation. They always say that. So, they'll tell the married friend, oh, you shouldn't do that. You need to do that. Blah, blah, blah. You should leave him and don't put up with that. You shouldn't tolerate that. But when it comes to a marriage, it's all about compromise, and it's always about understanding where the other person is coming from. How did y'all get here? You can't just throw things away so quickly, and I find that to be a common thing, and especially this generation and women, we're so quick to just throw things away. Oh, I won't tolerate that. I won't do that. Well, marriage is all about compromise and working through things. So single friends often can influence people in long-term relationships or in marriages to throw it away instead of working through things, talking it out, getting that other person's point of view where you might not have known, okay, this is how they were thinking in that situation. So single people, I feel like they have a one-sided view. They don't have a view of how it is working with somebody, living with somebody, because oftentimes single people, they live by themselves. They're used to themselves. So they come from a selfish point of view a lot of times. But not to discount a single people advice, because it also can be good, because it can be something they went through in another relationship that may be brand new in your current relationship. So you can't negate everything that they say, I would say. But take everything with a grain of salt when it comes to that.
No, that's funny. They're speaking from a place of they don't have that commitment aspect. They're speaking from a place of like being single. Like once you make this bond or this vow, in front of God, at this point, it's like, all right, some things we have to
get serious, man. You just don't want to throw your family away like so quick over it. And I want to say petty, because a lot of times it is petty things. You might be set in your ways. I might be set in my ways. So let's come to a compromise. It's big when you're in a long-term relationship.
It's funny you said it. I was just telling Sco. He's not married. You know Sco.
Yeah.
I was just telling him, like, bro, go get your family, bro. Go get your girl. Just go chase your. Don't worry about what people say. I was speaking.
Definitely.
Yeah, I was speaking with one of my married partners, and he was telling me like that his wife had cheated on him before. Like, it was infidelity in the relationship, and my first reaction is like, oh, no, you can't tolerate that, like, at all. And
especially as a man, y'all quick to be like that.
And it's like, it's an ego thing, though, right?
Yes.
So I'm telling him that, and he like, but bro, like, think about what I did. Think about, what I've done up until this point. Like, why would I just throw away my marriage for that? I was like, so what was the outcome? And he pretty much told me, like, they got counseling, they talked about it, and it's something that he still battles with, but for the most part, he was able to get over it. And I'm like, wow, I don't know if it's love out there like that for me.
And he's validating those feelings, because that's not something easy to get over, and he shouldn't. And she should do everything she can to keep making him secure in their relationship. So you don't rush people's healing. That's going to take time, but at least he's working it out and he's making the steps,
Yeah. You need a reference. That was good. I like that. You need a reference. What about, if that's the case, I think the next generation after us may be doomed. Because you got people like you who, you got your marriage, people like a few of my friends, but it's far and few between,
Yeah, we're trying. And that's the thing, what I was saying. And like I told you, I do hair. So I touch a lot of women's heads. I hear a lot of stories, a lot of personal stories, a lot. And they get deep with me. But a common thing I find, especially in younger women, is that no nonsense. And I get it. Something happened. You've been hurt. You gonna do that every time something happens?
Yeah.
And I recently watched the Cam Newton and Ice Cube interview. And Ice Cube was dropping some jewels.
Okay.
And one thing he said was, you have to appreciate the journey, not the outcome.
Yeah.
So the thing is, relationships are a journey. There's never going to be a perfect relationship. And I think a lot of people, that's what they're seeking, for a person to check all the boxes. My husband don't check all my boxes. I'm pretty sure I don't check all his boxes. But we make it work, and we want to be with each other. You have to want it. And if something happens that might have happened a year ago, that you told him, like, I'm not going to deal with this, and it might come up again, what are you going to do, leave?
Right. After all this y'all built.
I feel like if it's not hurting me physically and it's not destroying me mentally, then it's something we can work through.
Absolutely.
If it's something, that's a pet peeve, it gets on my nerves, I might have already told you a couple times, then we still need to talk about it and come to a compromise. But you should always work towards, working it out with that person. Because it's always going to be something.
Yeah.
Always.
Y'all kind of got the ups in y'all situation, though, on a lot of people. Because y'all kind of established early on. In a sense, y'all kind of grew up together, you know.
People say that, but it's also hard.
Yeah. I agree.
Very hard.
Probably more, like in a lot of areas, even worse than a normal person just meeting each other.
Because I think we talked about this a little bit last time, that we've been together since we were 17.
Yep.
Imagine being with the same person since you were 17.
It's rough.
And I feel like already being 31, going on 32, that I've lived 5 different lives.
Yeah.
And your interests change, what you like changes, the person you are changes, you know. So we've had to grow with each other constantly, relearning each other. And that takes time. Yeah. And I always tell people, being in a marriage or just being in a long-term relationship, you have to wake up and choose that person every single day. Yeah. It's not something that comes automatic. Like, you have to want it every single day.
Yeah, like living in the moment type thing. Like living in the present, I mean. That I can imagine that can probably be a little, you know, troublesome at times.
Because, you know, especially early on when you're young, and like I tell everybody this story, like I'm young, I'm coming out of college, not college, excuse me, high school into college, new setting, and I was kind of a sheltered child, so I'm like, oh Lord, everybody everywhere, so. And he was actually a student manager on the football team. So he'll be telling me little stuff like, cause a lot of people that wouldn't know that we were together. Yeah. So he'd be like, somebody saw you today and was asking about you or what. So I had to tell him, and I was like, for real? Yeah. And then you'll get. You know how guys can be trying to talk to you at parties. Then I became a Delta, so that was even worse. So
more exposure.
You exposed to a lot of people, so it's temptation. Definitely a lot of temptation, and you just have to want that person. Choosing that person.
Hey, listen, I ain't that strong. I think I told you that in the past. Well, at least back then I wasn't that strong. You know, now as an adult, and I think it's harder for men too, though. You know, maybe it's not, depending on the situation. Depending on the situation
or the person. You know, and I can't sit here and act like I'm a perfect person. I've entertained a lot of attention that I was seeking, because I'm an Aries too, and I like attention. So you give me attention, we best friends. So we locked in. So you know how guys can be, you know, all up in and being younger is even worse to being a younger female and not knowing the difference between good attention and bad attention. So I had to just learn to navigate through that too, and knowing I had a good man with me, just keeping that in the forefront of my head, like, I don't want nobody else to have my man, because he mine.
Right. So. No, for sure. Sure.
So I'm like, y'all cute for right now, but long term, no.
Yeah, and especially like you say, you getting the attention, and you don't know if this guy, are you trying to be my friend, or is this a relationship?
Right.
Thing? 'Cause, you know, dudes will come from that angle too,
and they'll be coming hard, but they really only want. Yeah, but they want you can't blame them especially if they a single dude. Not to bash anybody and anything. You single and you playing the field. You just playing the field. So again, me being young, not having a lot of experience with guys, because we've been together since I'm in high school, and you come along, you telling me all the good stuff when me and Ash could have just got in an argument, and you telling me everything I want to hear. So now we locked in.
How do you, in real time, in the moment, I know you said a thing that you do is keep your man in the front of your mind, like, but how do you in real time, in the moment, kind of navigate them type of situations? Because I'm pretty sure you have that now to this day. You power lift and everything. You're around males all the time. For sure. You work out, you know.
For sure. So, I mean, it never ends, to be honest. It's kind of slowed down, though, because, I don't know, I'm getting a little auntie vibe. But it ain't as bad as when I was younger, because a lot of people know, you know, I'm married. You can see it on my social media. And some dudes don't care, though.
Nah, they don't.
Either way, they won't even care, so they'll still try. But my thing is, I don't never like to be rude to people in general. So, instantly, they'll notice me putting them in the friend zone. Yeah. Like, you know. Even then, they still trying. When I say I'm married, we're gonna be in the friend zone. We could be cool, but you know, it's nothing's gonna happen between us.
Yeah. See, that's why.
So they end up, you know, we be cool for a minute, then they end up like, okay, she really ain't budging, like she ain't going for it.
But you know something, anytime I see somebody married, like I don't play with that, because I know, first of all, I know
that's
men.
Good. That's respectful.
Yeah, I know how dangerous men can be. Well, you're not married, you're in a relationship. I might, you know, but somebody that's married, you know, you don't play with that, because I know how dangerous men can be, especially about their wives. Like, like, you know, this has been my wife for years. You playing in my face, like, you know. So.
And that's why I don't tell them like little isolated situations, because I'm just like, no, it's not even worth it.
And you'll probably make them worry too. Does that get to you though? Like, do you like want to tell them like, man, you know?
He already know.
Yeah, he know what's up.
He be figuring it out. Yeah. So and then I'll tell him little situations or whatever, especially if I'm not gonna see that person no more. But if that person constantly, you know, around, or if you really get to a point where you getting on my nerves, then. But guys are always gonna say little stuff. You know, like you said, being at the gym and stuff like that. Like they gonna say stuff.
Yeah. No,
and a lot of times they be in relationships. And that be the crazy part.
Yeah,
to me.
it's rough out here. It's rough out here.
And then when I figured that out, I'm like, sir,
yeah, no,
you in a whole relationship, like.
It's rough out here. Like, listen, I was having a conversation with one of my frat brothers, and he told me he was like, you know, a girl that I can remember seeing this girl when she was, I'm old, damn, just even thinking that. But anyway, I can remember seeing this little girl. She's 15 now, but I can remember seeing this little girl when she was like, she had to be, you know, like she 10 to 5 years, so maybe like 8. You know, like 8, because I've been knowing him a decade now. So she had to be like 8 when I seen her, because I was cutting hair, and he just so happened to have her with him. And, you know, she's 15 now. I'm like, okay. He was telling me about it. He said, like, she got, like, AIDS. Oh. Yeah, like, wow. And I'm like, wait, how? How does that even happen?
From that little girl to...
Yeah, like, I'm like, how does that even happen? Like, what happened between there? He was like, dude, just out here trying to be grown, fucking with these dudes, you know, dealing with, like... these older dudes and shit, these dudes like heavily pursuing her, because I, you know.
You said that was back home?
No, this is up here in this area.
Oh, because that just remind me, because you know Shelby County has like the biggest STD rates, and that always did scare me. You know, back in the day.
Yeah, we was that whole area like that.
15 with AIDS.
15 with AIDS. Like, listen,
that's not to play with.
Fuck me up. I said, wow. And he's like, yeah, bro. But this dude's our age, like 32, 33, that's having sex with this young girl, and it's like, yeah, that's why I just sit at the house. Like,
that's always baffled me though. Men's, I don't know if I want to call it obsession, because it's not all men. Definitely some men's obsession with younger girls, because I've experienced that for sure.
Yeah.
You know, people that could be my daddy, you know, trying to talk to me.
Yeah. I mean, shit, I always thought I was grown as hell anyway. Not the, you know, I mean, I've talked to younger women, but I always thought I was grown. So even when I'm 18, somebody that's like 16 to me, I'm 18 pursuing like people like, you know, 30 and shit like that.
Yeah. My brother did too. But the thing is, like, okay, say you 32 now and you found out a girl is 19, about to be 20. Yeah. Do you pursue something with her?
Nah, that's too young for me. We can't relate on any level.
And that's why I don't understand. Like, it can only be one thing.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm grown enough to do that, of course. But what else do you want from me?
Yeah, we can't relate on any level, especially somebody like me. I got older parents, you know, so I was exposed to older people my whole life. So it's like, one of my brothers will probably be old enough to be her grandfather or something like that. I got nieces like, you know, older
her grandfather. I'm tripping.
Yeah.
So what do you ever have like a friend that you've seen that's done that, that's older, and they will talk? What is it?
Yeah, we check them. I check them. Like, when I see that, it's like, yeah, bro, you on some creeper shit. That's why a lot of my friends don't hang around me like that. I'm just too honest with them.
And I've heard that women, like I told you about myself, right? Being young and naive, and I'm easily influenced. So you're an older man. Oh, you can easily influence me to do whatever you want. Right. You know, especially if you're a very impressionable young woman. So as you know, we get older and we've had those experience relationships, and we understand men a little bit better. We're not as going for the okie doke. Right. And I guess that's why some men feel like it's a little bit easier. Yeah. To snatch and grab one of those young ones.
Yeah, for sure.
Because women my age ain't going for it. Yeah. So,
yeah, easily manipulated, all of that. Like somebody that they can control, for sure. I mean, that's all what it boiled down to with a lot of that. Yeah. That mold of man, you know. Like, again, you know, I don't know, it's kind of weird to me on my end. Even with my partner, it's like, bro, you know, I check him. When I say check, I'm just not like I'm, you know, getting on to him. I'm like, bro, you bringing this baby around?
Yeah,
like,
you know making it known to him, like,
we see this shit. Yeah. I think that's where I'm at in the stage of my life too. Like even stuff like friendship and stuff like that. Sure. Just trying to be as honest as I can and tell the truth about what I'm feeling in real time in the moment. You know, for example, like. me and Tyra, like we may be having conversations about some stuff, and I just tell her like, yeah, no, I don't like that. When in the past, when I used to be like, oh, well, maybe X, Y, and Z, but now I'm like honest, and sometimes it'll get me in trouble, you know.
But that's good though.
Yeah,
I feel like men do need to speak up a lot more, and I tell my husband that, like, cause it'll end up exploding at the end, like. Yeah. Why you ain't tell me you ain't like that, or you ain't want to do that? You know, and I guess because he always say, I ain't know what you was gonna say, or he always afraid like what I'm gonna do or what I'm gonna say. Like, hey, am I a bully?
Yeah, the kind of y'all are though. When you love a woman, you know, like, all right, she can fuck up my day. She can fuck up my whole day. She got all this control over me. Let me just watch my mouth, like for real. All right.
Yes, but I don't want you to be silenced.
Yeah,
we want your perspective on things.
I don't know. I don't know. Because you know, one thing about Tyra, she gonna fuck up my whole day if she want to.
We will, ain't no lie.
Because you know me so well. Like you said, you've been with your husband since y'all was 17. Me and Tyra, we met when we was 19. First got to school. So it's like, she know everything. She done been through all the stages, me growing. So it's like, yeah, if she want to piss me off for the day, she can do it. She
know them buttons.
Yep. Fuck pushing them. She'll just go stomp on them real quick. You know?
Pull the plug out.
Yeah. But I do though. I think that culture, environment, all of that shit play a role in relationships and establishing like a strong foundation for your relationship.
For sure.
If me personally, when I think back, the mindset that I used to have in approaching a relationship versus now, I think a lot of my shit was rooted in fear because my mother, it's 5 of us. She has 5 kids. I think we talked about this. 5 kids. All of us got different dads. Like she really never let grass grow under her feet like that in a sense. Like, you know. So I think
she was the lever.
Yeah, she get the fuck up out of here. Like for real. But she did have one man that she was in love with, but he ended up getting murdered. And she, even in her Alzheimer's, she still talk about him to this day. So yeah, even like she'll say his name just randomly, like Earl, you know. I'm like, I hope that nigga ain't in here. If you see him, tell his ass. You know. So,
you are not welcome.
Right. But, you know, that's kind of where my shit was rooted in. But it took me to get older and learn now, like, all right, you know, this is the way a relationship should be. There's nothing wrong with making these sacrifices and stuff like that. I know you kind of had them same type of beginnings too, right? With your mother, right?
For sure. And just like what you were saying, but every relationship is different. And that's what people got to realize. There's no cookie cutter way of being in a relationship. So my mom, she only married my dad. And it was 4. So it's 5 of us and 4 different dads. Yeah. A little background again. Each man always treated us the same. Like we never felt like, you know, one was more special than the other. Luckily, you know, because it's not always like that. Like who gonna buy their kids McDonald's type of thing. Everybody get McDonald's. So the most tumultuous relationship that I seen with my mom was the last dad, and that was my younger brother and my younger sister's dad. And that's because substances were involved. So, and that stemmed from his father. So all these things that play a part in how a relationship works out, you know, from what people choose to do in their own personal life, like I said, substance abuse, and that how that can affect the relationship and their relationship with their parents and how that can affect the relationship. So me just seeing all of that made me not want no parts of it.
Yeah, that was your reaction to it.
So initially, I didn't want to be married. I didn't feel like I deserved to be married. I didn't feel like I was the marriage type because I didn't grow up that type of girl that had both parents and, you know, they've been married to this day type of thing. So I felt like marriage was for those types of girls. So again, also at the beginning of me and Ash's relationship was a little rocky because it's like, man, do I want to be in a long-term relationship with this one person? So some of those early habits was creeping in on me early. And me having to differentiate, okay, what is long-term and what's just for now? Right now, a quick little satisfaction type of thing. So I had to really hone in and focus on, okay, what do I want long term?
Yeah.
What is sustainable? So as time went on, and I just started to grow and become a different person, graduating from college, us living together, and of course having a child together, it really changed me in my thought process. And then, of course, having those friends in your ear, why y'all ain't married yet? Why y'all this? When it comes to that, like with people all in your ear, and that's why I say everybody's relationship is different. People like to put time frames on things, deadlines. Like, when are you getting married? Right. Why are you worried about me? Right. Just because I'm in a relationship and we haven't taken it to the next step, doesn't mean we love each other less or it's not as important as the next relationship. Because you have some people, they can be a year in and decide to get married. Some people can be 5 years in. We waited 9. And not that you're saying you have to wait that long, but as he said to me, he would hear me say things like that, like, I don't care about marriage. So that could affect his thought process on like, well, if she don't care, I don't care, type of thing. So who knows? But I was going to always wait for him to ask. I definitely wasn't going to get on one knee, but I feel like our relationship was fine. It didn't need like that pressure of us getting married. It was the outside pressure, even family. When y'all gonna tie a knot? And honestly, what difference did that make?
Yeah, it didn't make much difference, did it?
We just spent a whole bunch of money on the wedding. Just to be honest, and not to discourage anybody from getting married or wanting marriage. It's just when you locked in with a person, you locked in. Now marriage is just, a cap on everything, of course, and now y'all are bonded for life, legally. Right. But you and that bond with that person is very important. And I'm gonna tell you a story why. I was recently exposed to a situation where there was a couple, and I'm not gonna say any names or anything, but they met on a little dating site, and they got married like a year later. Yeah. And you would think everything was peaches and cream because from the outside looking in, he was her Prince Charming. Right. Like, I'm talking about showing her stuff she had never seen before, wining and dining, taking her out, on trips and things like that. I mean, a true provider, which what women ask for all the time. And again, look at this time frame. So just a year in. So things happen where she eventually realized, like, I don't really care for him too much.
She don't like him.
And some people in her past came into her life where now she is entertaining them and not so much her husband. So again, we had to realize, and what I told my friend is, you really have to. People be so quick with the marriage thing because that's all we see. Social media, marriage. You got to get married. Yeah. And then as you age, that pressure gets even worse. Right. But when you sit down and be in a relationship with a person, do you like this person? Yeah. Do you really like this person? Are y'all friends? Are y'all friends? Because that's important. Are y'all friends in one room and y'all in the other room? Yeah. Type of thing. Stuff like that is not sustainable. Right. When me and Ashton go out, we got mutual friends. His friends is my friends is his friends. Yeah. So when we talk about relationships and then marriage, we're talking about merging your life all the way. Yeah. Everything, every aspect of your life. And that's very important to help cultivate a healthy relationship. Yeah. And not to say you're never going to have any issues or anything, but you get to a point where you wake up and realize after a child and everything, like, man, I really don't like him. Yeah. Because were you just looking at that aspect of what he could do for you, which a lot of women do. Yeah. Instead of, do I really like him and the person he is?
Yeah, that's crazy. And that'll make a man go crazy too.
So, but also on the because nobody's perfect in the situation, and it's not on because she's valid in her feelings. Right. She's valid to feel that way because he also stopped doing some of the things he was doing to get her. Yeah. So, sir, you did all of that. You can't start. Ease in. You did all of that, and now you feel like you got what you wanted. You got your fish, but you're not doing nothing to keep it from flopping out the boat. Yeah, yeah. So, and then with women, and this is so much, but this is another conversation I was having with my sister with women and her husband. You have to keep nourishing us, with that type of love, and same for men as well. But I know a lot of times y'all are a lot more simpler than we are. So we were talking about dating your woman, and I was talking about that to my brother-in-law, and he was just so up in arms about it. Like, he couldn't believe it. He was like, "No, dating is for people, two people that don't know each other." And I'm like, no, brother. Dating can go from marriage, relationship to single, and it's not necessarily you getting, well, it kind of can be. Yeah. Because, again, we're always growing. So, okay, let's just say it's something I've always wanted to do or something new I'm interested in and I want to go do. So let's go out on a date. Right. He want to call it quality time. And I'm like, brother, whatever label you want to put on it, you need to set aside time for you and your wife, where you take her out to do what she wants, or you go to do some things you want to do with her. So, I would call them still kind of new parents, because my niece is only 3, and everything is revolved around her. Yeah. With that with kids, and I get it. I'm 2 kids in, so but with the second kid, I got that mentality. Fuck them kids. Yeah, you gotta be like them kids. No offense, but when them kids are grown and gone, y'all left with each other. So y'all have to nourish that relationship as you're going along in these years. It is hard. It is hard. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's hard. But you gotta set aside everything to spend time with each other. Yeah. And I told him, because he wanted to chalk it up to, it's okay, y'all can go live your life, kind of saying that we getting tired of them in particular. It's like, no, we want to date you, not other people. Right. Because he kept telling my sister, like, I'm going to be here when you get back. I'm like, no, that's not the point I'm trying to make, sir. She wants to go out with you. Having new experiences, because that's how you grow closer, because y'all can talk about, you remember we did this and this and this and this, and that's something positive y'all can reflect on instead of arguing about who put the vase over here and whatnot.
No, I seen a post. It was a preacher. He had a husband and a wife on stage, and they just told him to come on stage with their 2 children, and they stood up on stage, and he said it was the husband, the 2 kids, and then the wife. And he was like, this is the problem with relationships. And everybody was like, what?
Oh, because the kids came too?
The kids was in the middle. Just because they were in the middle, he was like, you got to remove these children and love each other. It's exactly what you said. He was like, because when, they're gone, you still got to love on each other. And they'll be gone making their own relationships and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. For sure. So you said something earlier that resonated with me, which is you felt like in the beginning, like, maybe you weren't worthy of marriage. That's the exact feeling I had coming into relationships. Like, I used to tell Tyra all the time, I feel like you're too good for me. I feel like you're too good for me. You come from 2 parents. You come from, all of that. So it's like, I feel like you're too good for me. How did you get around that? What made you beat those thoughts?
Well, as I got older and started spending more time around, his family, and this is nothing negative, but I started to realize they're not perfect. Yep. So I used to think having 2 parents, you won in life. They love each other, still in the same household. Yeah. And not only does he still have 2 parents, his grandparents are still married. So he has generations to look after, but I quickly learned they ain't perfect. Yeah. Because grandparents, they gonna hold secrets to their grave. But I soon found out some stuff, that made them not perfect, but they still decide to stay with each other. And that's another thing, goes back to our first conversation about single people want to throw things away. Yep. And it's like, when you look around and you threw away 50 people and now you lonely and want somebody with you just to be a companion, you have nobody, because you done threw them all away. So it made me realize no matter what you go through, you still want to, hold on to your partner as long as you can. Again, if it's not hurting you physically, if it's not destroying you emotionally or mentally, then hold on to that person, because that's all you have at the end of the day when, you're on your last few breaths. So just seeing, the real behind having a 2-parent household, that they're not perfect either. Right. Things still go on. And I was just like, well, maybe I can still, be in a relationship and be married. And just me growing up and learning how to value myself better and having standards for my own self made me start wanting, like, no, I do want a deeper commitment. Because marriage is a deeper commitment, because you sign your life away to me, buddy. So that's what eventually how it came about. Just took some years of growing and maturing.
Yeah. Now that's funny that you said that because it's the same shit. It's funny how two people can, grow up, have, I guess similar lives in some ways, different lives, and live like this parallel situation when it comes to certain specific things. Because that's exactly what happens. You get introduced to the family and you realize like, there's some conflict there.
Yeah. It ain't all peaches and cream, but he does have a lovely family, and I'm so thankful for that, because that's also important when we was talking about having a village as well, because I mean, nothing beats grandparents and helping with children, and again having that reference because they've seen us blow up, in certain situations, and they'll come with us with some advice on how to handle it, and how to handle it differently.
Yeah, you need that counsel.
For sure. For sure. Because they've been through that. I mean, I think they 30 years now.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Almost as long as we've been alive.
Yep.
I mean, listen, I think that's a lot of what we lack in today. I think it's a lot of, it's so much more temptation now. Even from the time when we were like coming up in school, dating and stuff like that. What do we have? Like, what was it? I thought I was a street nigga, so I didn't have social media. But what was it when we was growing up in high school? What would it have been? MySpace. Okay. That was... I'd never been on MySpace, but even having that, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I never had it. I told you I thought I was a street nigga. Yeah, I thought I was a street nigga. They always said stay off the internet if you're doing, whatever. But yeah, I never had no MySpace or nothing. But it's like, even that, I'm pretty sure it wasn't nothing like what we got now.
No, that temptation is real, and I relate to this because of my brother, right? And we're just exposed to everybody. When you were in high school, just like your high school class, the girls in your class or the men in your class, okay, them and a few little people. But now, all of social media. Because my own husband got kind of caught up into that too, so I had to bop him on the head about that. But
liking the pictures,
not
I'm
following them. Like, dang, they fine, but come on, now, like you ain't gotta do all that because they ain't gonna never see you.
Yeah, that's me.
I just be like, why you just can't scroll and look? Like, why you gotta like it? Like, don't you know I can see you? we. What is it? The algorithm. So it show up who likes what.
Who like what? Yeah.
Then I see my brother right next to you. I'm like, how you think that make me feel? Y'all liking the same pictures.
Facts.
But when it comes to my brother, and we had deep conversations like this all the time, and I tell him too, he think he a nice looking man, I guess. I don't know. But he'll tell me, Trina, I got this one, I'm trying to talk to, but she don't check all the boxes. Then I got this one over here. She don't check all the boxes. And I tell him, brother, they're not gonna check all the boxes. But the thing is, what type of bond have y'all built together in relationships? And I know it's hard nowadays because again, us women, it's like a all or none type of thing. Yeah. So I mean, like you said, it's we really at a standstill when it comes to things like that. So.
Yeah, I just imagine a 17-year-old like dating or having a girlfriend right now, or a 16-year-old, whatever they doing. They find somebody that they like, but then they get on social media and they see like different women from different schools. We couldn't see all of that.
No. So what do you do in that situation? You throw away a bun?
Me personally, now I know not to.
For somebody,
but I would have threw that shit away if just a few years
look
ago.
Good.
Yeah, I would have threw it away. I know now not to. Yeah, I would have threw it away. I would have threw it, but I know now not to.
Trying to see what that's about, and then you quickly realize like the grass ain't greener.
Yeah, and you learn so much. I learned so much from my child, like my son. Like I learned so much from him. Just the other day, me and him was having a conversation. I was like, it just ain't the day for daddy, son. And he was like, but dad, you're strong. I was I am strong.
Because that's your twin. You spit him out yourself.
Yeah. I keep trying to tell his mama that. I keep trying to tell him. Like, but, my goodness. It's like, that's just me and him. We got that bond like that. So it's like, he teach me so much stuff. Like, even at times, like, it's weird, but like, how to, like, respect his mother.
For sure. Kids gonna get you together every single time.
Yeah.
I got a preteen.
Yeah.
Woo. So I gotta tighten up real fast on certain things. But she's a really good girl though. But she tell me like how it is.
Yeah.
When I'm doing too much, especially with her daddy, she gonna let me know.
See, that's what I need. I need the little girl that's gonna check
on your side. Yes.
Yeah.
She gonna stick up for him.
Yeah, he instantly like, no, don't. What are you doing, Dad? Don't talk to my mom like that. He instantly like correct me on certain ways or certain posturing I may do with her. Like he always, But it's funny how much I've learned from him, and just having that. That's been a key to like my progression, I guess, and just trying to on my pursuit to maybe marriage one day.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a journey. Don't ever do something before you're not ready to do something. When you have your mind made up, you're gonna know.
Yeah.
And like we was talking about earlier, people that pressure from people, single people, like where your relationship at? Do you even have somebody you considering for marriage? You know? So it's in due time. Because I can tell the growth that you had. Because that first podcast we was talking about, you was like, nah, that ain't for me. Ain't about that. But I can see you kind of like considering it. And you had some growth in that time.
Yeah. And even then, if I'm being transparent, a lot of that was performative, I guess I'd say too. Because it's like, I got to a point maybe, I was speaking from a place of hurt then too. Because that wasn't too long after Tyra had left me. Yeah, she ended up leaving me. And basically disagreements though.
Did she ever tell you why?
Oh yeah, I knew why. It was because we moved in together, and I remember just like yesterday, I'm sitting in the mirror, I'm having a conversation with her. She's at work. I'm on the phone with her, and I'm just in the mirror looking and at myself. I don't know why I even mentioned it, but I'm in the mirror looking at myself. And I'm talking to her, and I'm just like, listen, we need to do something to salvage this relationship. We need to like fix this thing. Like I'm here. We need to find some way to extinguish this burning house that we in right now, because this shit is about to burn away and whatever.
How long had y'all been living together?
Like a year at that point. And right as I'm getting ready to like say that, what we need to do, she said, let's just co-parent. I said, what? Like my heart dropped. I'm like, what? She's like, it's co-parent. And that hurt me on a lot of ways because, and not to say I'm like innocent in this, because for me, it was, I'm doing a certain amount of things in the home, right? And my expectation is for her to do these things or whatever, right? And I wasn't living up to her part. She wasn't living up to my part. And rather than us just having an actual conversation about it, she just jumped to co-parenting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn. And that hurt me because I'm like, I never wanted my son to grow up in a broken home. I always wanted him to be like in a whole home. But then, outside pressure from friends, it's like, fuck that, bro. Like, you grew up in a single home, you good, nigga, you turned out straight. So it's like,
Lord.
So it's like, where you
horrible
right.
influences.
Right,
Instead of, fighting for your family. But they living together is some else. I don't know if my brother touched on that when he came, but, he lived with his girlfriend for the first time in a year.
A year.
I don't know what be happening in that year, because you really see a person for who they are in all the aspects. And even to this day, it's not easy living with another person when you are set in your ways and what you like to do. I mean, you learn that person better and how to navigate through it, but it's a challenge, Yeah. But you learn how to again, that word compromise. You learn how to compromise, and like you said, you have to want it.
Yeah.
You really have to want it. And we want it. We want to make it work. So we make it work. But they living together is something else. You were saying something about you were trying to see how y'all can come out of that burning house. Yeah. Right. So did y'all try anything previous to that?
That's what got me. She was quick. And I talked to her about that. She just jumped the gun. She pulled the trigger like, yeah, co-parent, nigga. Like, but I talked to her about that. I was like, she was like, I just did it first before I thought you was about to do it. Like I was afraid. She got like a lot of attachment issues and shit, like like most of us do.
Wow, yeah.
So she's like, I just did it before you had a chance to do it. We talked about it later. But I think now. And it's so funny because a lot of people don't believe in like the zodiacs and stuff like that. But one of the things that it talks about with us is like we can have productive conversations about anything except relationships. Like when it comes to relationships, you might as well like try to mix oil and water when it comes to us talking about relationships. So it's like,
and she's a what you said?
Taurus.
A Taurus. Oh, okay. She'll be a little more stubborn.
Yeah. Her birthday is the day before my mother's birthday.
What's that?
So May 12th is her birthday.
Okay.
May 13th is my mother's birthday. So it's like I kind of knew how to, get around that and just like deal with that, the stubbornness. But to answer your question, did we have any other conversation about? Yeah, we've had conversations on how to like in the moment, because that moment's past. But if we ever were to go into them type of situations again, like what's the best thing to do, And I think a lot of times with me, with her. And this could hurt us a lot, but I have to be the one to say it. It's it's like she just can't say like, hey, let's talk. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard for her to just say like, let's talk. She just can't say that. Like, I have to be the one, wait, let's sit down, let's talk. What's going on?
That do happen. And I think I'm a little traditional when it comes to that, where I feel like that's just the leader in a man, you know, to be like, no, this ain't going right. Come sit your ass down. You know, so I do like when he does that, because I can have it on my mind, but I'm gonna let it burn me up. Before I admit it's burning me up, because I'm an Aries, so I have a little bit of Taurus in me where it could be stubborn, but I'm more so headstrong. Like, you know, and stuck in my ways a lot, and it's hard to bring my ego down.
I mean, you see, she jumped. I was like, damn, I almost called her a bitch when she done it. I'm like, damn, bitch, you just gonna say co-parent? Are you serious?
Like, communication, y'all. Them C's, compromise communication, man, and then being parents on top of that, because we be having so many different conversations about how we want to parent. Something recently, because we were talking about it in front of his dad, but we were talking about Christmas, and I'm a type of person, I ain't into Christmas like I used to be. Same. Christmas ain't the same, because I feel like throughout the year our parents ain't get us shit. So Christmas, y'all better, you know, come through. So it's the opposite for kids these days. They get everything all throughout the year. So what's the point of slamming a whole bunch of gifts in their face and wasting all my money? So my husband was like telling my daughter to make a Christmas list. I'm like, why? And he was saying it to give it to the family members, though, not necessarily for us. And I think my daughter was at a dilemma because she really couldn't think of nothing she wanted. All she wanted was a trampoline. So on this list, she had things, I don't know, one thing that stood out was some Jordans. See, I tell you, none of these kids up here care about shoes like how we did growing up. That's not a thing. West Tennessee, growing up, baby,
got to.
It was a thing. But she don't care about that stuff. I'm like, Ava, do you really want these? And she was like, no, Daddy just told me to make a list.
Just picking shit.
Just picking stuff. And I was like, Ashley, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You're forcing her to make a list of stuff that she don't even really want. I'm not that type. Tell me what you want. And then, or a kid, especially her age, would tell you anyway. So we don't have to force her to do something that she don't really want to do, especially when it comes to that, spending money. I'm like, if the family want to get her something, they can just get her what, you know, something they think she would like, but they don't have to. So we had a little disagreement about that, because I'm like, we don't have to do this. It's not that big of a deal. But we just talked about it, and he was just like, forget the list, basically.
Sometimes,
it's just like you gotta choose your battles. So he was like, nah, I ain't fighting this one. Because at the end of the day, I guess he realized, like, okay, that does make sense. Like, you know. But, you know, he's trying to be a good dad at the end of the day.
No, that's probably the biggest thing now for me, just period, is just learning when to say, all right, nigga, that's it. All right, just be quiet. It'd be burning up on me. It'd be a lot of times tired. You'd be like, look at you. You want to say something so bad. Like,
y'all do.
Cool. I'm cool. Like, I'm all right. She's like, nah, say it, nigga. You want to say something? Say it. So it's just like, but yeah, I'm learning to just shut my mouth, because a lot of the times it don't be worth it, you know, all the extra shit. But look, I'm glad you came on, Trina.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
That time be going by so fast.
Yeah. It happened quick. But, you know, I appreciate you coming on as always.
Of course.
You know, glad you can make it. I know we had a few hiccups here and there, but glad you
Mama too, please. Give me grace.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. 100%. But like I said, I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Come back anytime, man. I'm pretty sure I invite you back between now and then.
I will.
Yeah. But listen, this is the ChoppedByT podcast, where we get real, raw, authentic conversation. Until next time.